Which choice results in the most effective transition to the information that follows in the paragraph? Okay, so this is one where we have to see how the paragraph works as a whole, not just how the sentence works in itself. Because grammatically, all of these choices are fine. It's a matter of which provides the best transition. So let us read. Most transportation planners work in or near cities, but some are employed in rural areas. Say, for example, a large factory is built on the outskirts of a small town. Traffic to and from that location would increase at the beginning and end of work shifts. The transportation planner's job might involve conducting a traffic count to determine the daily number of vehicles traveling on the road to the new factory. If analysis of the traffic count indicates that there is more traffic than the current road as it is designed at this time can efficiently accommodate, the transportation planner might recommend widening the road to add another lane. So what works as the best transition here? So we want to say that they work in or near cities, but then also emphasize that some are employed in rural areas. And notice that's what this is kind of discussing. So let's say you're building a large factory on the outskirts of a small town. A transportation planner would have to determine if you have to enlarge the road given that more traffic is going to be moving on it. So in fact, the original seems okay here, because we want to emphasize that, while most transportation planners are working here, some are actually working in this other area where they have this job to evaluate the needs of the infrastructure. Where the job opportunities are more plentiful, would that work as a transition? Well, it's, I guess, true of why a lot of them work in cities, but does that transition into the next part of the paragraph? Not really. The next part of the paragraph has nothing to do with job opportunities. And the majority are employed by government agencies. Again, maybe that's true, probably is, but does the rest of the paragraph have anything to do with that? No. Delete the underlined portion. No, that's not going to be relevant here because we want to make sure we're transitioning. We can't just have this line because that's not going to transition into the next part of the passage. So we can go ahead and, for this one, pick choice A. This is a question that's reminiscent of what you would find on improving paragraphs of the old SAT or on the ACT English, right? A lot of this section, in fact, one could say the entire writing section is modeled very closely on the ACT in terms of having questions embedded within paragraphs and having these types of questions. So yeah, this is a rhetorical question, right? So which would give the best transition from one part of the paragraph to the next? And that's why we have to read the paragraph as a whole to get the context. We just can't read that sentence, because if we read that sentence, we might get drawn into something like B, which would give a reason for why many of these transportation planners work in cities. But that's not what we want as the function of the sentence. We want the sentence to function as a transition, which is why, as written, it's a fine choice.